The Thunder visit the Wizards in D.C. tonight. Kevin Durant remembers the awkward environment there last season when Wizards fans fawned over him, holding KD to D.C. signs and wearing Wizards number 35 jerseys with Durant on the back. KD said, "It was crazy. It was crazy. It was kind of disrespectful, in my opinion, because you've got a great team there already that deserves your full 100% support. And I wouldn't like that if I was on that team, and I didn't like that because it comes with it nowadays. I learned to embrace it a little bit more, but it's still a little awkward for me." Bradley Beal agreed, telling CSN Mid-Atlantic, "It is disrespectful because he plays for Oklahoma City. He doesn't play for Washington." Stephen A., do you agree?
Well, let's put it in its proper context. If Bradley Beal is saying that it is disrespectful for them to be rooting for Kevin Durant while he plays for Oklahoma City, to the point where he's in the arena at the Verizon Center and they're cheering his every shot and his every point and all of this other stuff.
I don't think that's what he's saying.
I know that. What I'm saying is that you have people in Washington, because I spoke to a few this morning that were talking about, well, that's what he meant. Okay, that's what they meant. And I was like, nope, that's not what they're talking about here. What they're talking about with the signs, KD wanting him to come here. Let me wait. I love me some Bradley Beal and John Wall. I love them both. They're good people, and they're going to be great players. They're wrong here. Bradley Beal is wrong here. I have no problem whatsoever with fans in D.C. You should be booing him during the game. You know, you don't want him to beat your team, but wanting him to come to D.C.
That's campaigning. That's what you're talking about.
That's campaigning.
That's the operative word.
That's right, the campaigning.
Okay.
I have no problem with it. Zero whatsoever. If you're the Washington Wizards, you better get him. You better try. You better exhaust every measure to get somebody who is universally recognized as one of the top 3 players on the planet. Bradley Beal with John Wall, if KD come to D.C.? Are you kidding me? I mean, oh my Lord, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what life would be like in the nation's capital if KD rolled up in D.C. Now, I'm hearing otherwise.
I understand.
Okay, I'm hearing he's going to stay in OKC, or that LA's a viable option, but Washington is still a possibility. He is going to be an unrestricted free agent, free to go wherever he wants to go. All of that is true, but I got to tell you something. I'm looking at KD. Listen, I got tired of them relying on Nene, because Nene with Gortat wasn't working. They were going to go home in the second round. And I haven't forgiven them for losing every home game in that series against Indiana the season before last. But when I look at them right now, they decided to go small. You got Gortat at the 5. You got Otto Porter at the 3. You got either Chris Humphries or Dudley at the 4. You got Beal and Wall in the backcourt. You get KD with those two. The other 2 positions should just be out there for mop-up duty. Grab rebounds, defend, and shut the hell up and hope you get the ball. Because those 3 dudes need to be shooting all of the time. It would be special. So I don't blame them. They haven't been to the finals since '79. They haven't won a title since '78. It's been 35+ years since you were relevant in the championship equation, and you had a decent shot before Gilbert Arenas shredded your franchise with his nonsense. So to me, I don't blame the city, the nation's capital, for starving for KD. He's homegrown. He's a homegrown product, and they are starving for relevancy, and he's the ticket to it. Just don't be rooting for him while he's playing the Wizards.
Okay. I disagree with what you just said, but we have a double-edged sword here. We have KD and we have Bradley Beal, both saying it's disrespectful. I think Kevin's not being completely honest with his feelings there, because he can't be. He's got to be PC and say the right thing, which is, boy, that's disrespectful to them. I think deep down or privately, he really appreciates it and actually probably loves it, because he's from that neighborhood, man. And to go home and feel the love from those folks, I think it means a lot to Kevin. Now, let's go back to Bradley Beal. I love me some Bradley Beal. We had him on the show at the finals.
Good guy.
He was sensational on this show. He's got a future in this business at some point, but he's got a big future right now.
He got a big future in the NBA. That brother can play.
And listen, he beat my Spurs the other night. I don't know if you followed this, but he had a last-second bomb. It was sweet.
That's right. Just juked LaMarcus Aldridge, just left him.
He left Kawhi Leonard, who he finally left. But we'll get into that.
Okay.
But I appreciate the fact that he stood up and said, that's disrespecting me, because are we chopped liver here? I get what you're saying, but I do not blame Bradley Beal for standing up and saying, I don't want our fans to be rooting for somebody as if we're nothing without that guy. Because, as you point out, the odds of them getting that guy are probably pretty small. Is that fair to say?
It's pretty small.
Yeah, okay.
It's not impossible.
All right, not
it's
impossible,
a shot,
but pretty
it's small.
Okay, so it's 5% or 9% or whatever. So Bradley Beal's saying, hey, we're pretty good already, because they are pretty good. And they lost to Atlanta in the second round, as you say, last year, 4-2. That was about as good as they could get, and that was with Paul Pierce. Are they going to miss him this year? Is it going to be the same? Will they have the same sort of, you know, that veteran, gutty leadership or big shot making when it's time? I don't know. I still like the team. I don't love them, but I love the fact that Bradley Beal stood up and said, no, don't do that to us, because we got a chance.
Well, you can love it all you want. What I'm saying is it ain't disrespectful for a fan base that hasn't been to the finals since 1979. And keep in mind, 1979.
I was there. I covered those games.
Molly, 1979.
Yeah.
I was 12 years old.
Yeah, I wasn't
That's
born.
the last time. I'm sorry, I apologize. I was 11 going on 12. So the point that I'm trying to make to you is, yes, Wesley Unseld, Elvin Hayes and the crew, Bobby Dandridge and them. No question about it. Okay, I get it. But the flip side to it, Skip Bayless, is that it has been that long since this team has gone to the franchise. Damn it, they were called the Bullets back then. And they changed their name to the Wizards, okay? And A-Pole was a longer...
They did.
Listen, okay, that's fine. But in the end...
Especially some incidents they had on that team.
In the end, you're not doing anything. And Bradley Beal has got a lot of promise. I love that brother. John Wall is big time to me, and he's going to get even better. But they need more. They are not beating LeBron James. No. They're not competing with Cleveland and them if you don't get a Durant. And the real question is, does Durant want to come east and contend against LeBron?
Yep.
I ain't getting to that. We can save that for another time.
Okay.
But what I'm saying, what I'm telling you is, if Durant goes to Washington, oh, it's Cleveland, Washington. There ain't even a reason to talk about anybody.
Hey, I got to say this real quick. If I'm Kevin Durant, I would much rather compete against just LeBron than the entire West, man, because the West is rough.
Well, that's fair. That's fair enough, depending on how you look at it. Because if you're going against teams, then if you fall, it's plausible. But if you come to the East and you keep losing to LeBron, then that's much more indictable.
Yeah, okay.
It depends on how you look at it. Either way, he's big time, one of the best players in the world, and Washington would be an instant contender with him.
Who will bring home a championship first, the Redskins or the Wizards?
Oh, that would be the Wizards.
That's for another day.
That would be the Wizards if they had Durant.
Teddy Bridgewater knocked out on Sunday, so how much are the Rams to blame? Ryan Clark will be back with us back in a moment.